right, hello everybody. Welcome to today's webinar, How to Trade Like the Pros. Hey, quick AV check just to make sure you guys can hear me okay. You can see my screen. I want to welcome everybody joining me via GoToWebinar. If you guys don't mind, just type in something in the chat box. Let me know that you can hear me okay. I want to welcome you guys joining me via YouTube as well. So we are streaming live on YouTube. Let's see. Just a quick chat in the chat box. There we go. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Susan. Awesome. Glad you guys are here. My name is Jerry D'Ambrosio. I'm the manager of educational content here with VectorVest. This is our education team. Very proud of these folks. You know, we've come a long way over the years. When I first started with VectorVest 17 years ago, our education team consisted of maybe one or two people. It was very small back then. We've grown obviously over the years and evolved, I think, because we used to just focus solely on the VectorVest program, you know, how to build watch lists, how to run searches, create portfolios, backtest, things like that. We've evolved over the years, we've grown, and now we teach folks how to trade options, how to manage a retirement-minded portfolio, and also how to manage a swing trading portfolio, and that's what we're going to be talking a little bit about today. You're going to learn a technique that you could start using right away in your swing trading portfolio. Okay, so before we get started, I call them the three gets. Get number one, get a pen and a piece of paper, something to drink, of course, if you'd like. Pen and a piece of paper, you know, take notes. I will ask you guys to write a few things down later, so you might want to do that. Number two, get rid of any distractions. This is a little tougher now, now at about 4:30 in the afternoon, as opposed to I was doing a webinar earlier at 11 a.m. A little bit easier to get rid of any distractions at 11 a.m. Then later in the day, you know, I got kids and my wife and two boys are on their way home. It's my wife's birthday today, so I hope they stay quiet when they walk in the door. They know I'm doing a webinar, but you guys are all ready to learn. You guys are here. I really commend you for that. You know, you heard that this webinar was called How to Trade Like the Pros. You probably figured, hey, he's probably going to teach us something about how the pros trade, and that's what we're going to do. Here's what you're going to learn. First, 5 common principles professional traders follow. An extremely easy and effective short-term trading strategy, and I emphasize short-term. And then finally, how to quickly and easily identify the best trades. My promise to you is that if you follow the steps that we discussed today, you'll know how to identify the correct setup, entry, and exit for each trade. And we've got a lot to cover today. I really want you to stick with me to the end. If you stay with me to the end, I'll share a copy of today's slides. I think this will help. There's a lot of slides in here, a lot of great content, so I want you guys to stick with me to the end. If you I usually forget to put them in the chat box or in your GoToWebinar control panel. Just somebody remind me close to the end. Like I said, I got a lot of content to cover. So let's start off first by talking about what makes a pro a pro. What are the qualities that separates these men and women from the average retail investor? And this segment here is all about getting your mind right, getting you in the correct mindset, because this is not your buy and hold retirement approach. This is for the capital that you have set aside to trade a little bit more actively. And we feel you should be doing that. You should be allocating portions of your overall investment capital towards different vehicles and instruments, right? Options, dividend paying stocks, more capital appreciation, longer term investments, and then money set aside maybe to trade a little bit more actively. First, a professional trader is realistic. They know that there's no magic pill that they took that made them better traders overnight. Success in this industry just comes with time and effort. Ask anyone, and it doesn't matter the industry really. Ask anyone who's been, any good at anything, and they'll tell you that it took hard work. It didn't happen overnight. Next is that they control their emotions. They don't allow losing trades to affect them. They don't think of the results first. They focus on doing the right things and making the right trades. They know if they do that, the money will come. And one of the reasons they feel this way is because they place trades based on facts and data rather than gut feelings. We've all been there. Earlier on in my career, I would buy stocks, because of recommendations from family members, newsletters that I read, or, talking heads on television. had that feeling the stock was going to go up. Pros don't think that way. They look solely at the information in front of them to make decisions. They're prepared. They know exactly when they're going to get out of a trade even before getting in. And that's because they've examined and tested different techniques to figure out which one is best. Lastly, most importantly, I think professional traders are disciplined. They stay sharp and focused when things are going well, but they're resilient when things aren't going so well. So they have a plan and they stick to it. What happens if you continue to struggle with some of these things? You're going to go broke. Now, I don't mean you're going to be unemployed living on the streets, but you won't be playing this game too much longer because losses will just keep building up, and you'll wind up broke with no more money to invest. If done the right way, if you start correcting some of the mistakes that you hopefully can admit to yourself that you make, you'll know exactly what you're doing no matter the situation. Think about the confidence that you'll have. And once you start to develop better habits, you will start to see more consistent gains. Now, there is a big mistake, though, that traders make when first starting to implement short-term trading systems. They follow unproven, complicated strategies. They think that they need to use 6 different technical indicators on the same chart and 5 different types of moving averages to help identify entries and exits. For some reason, new traders who are just starting out trading this way, they find value in complexity. Most times, that's only going to lead to confusion and ultimately frustration. So what I want to show you tonight is what's called the RSI-2 trading system. The RSI-2 trading system was developed by Larry Connors. Larry Connors is an author. He's a trader. He's got over 40 years in the financial markets industry. This strategy focuses on stocks in long-term uptrends but are experiencing short-term corrections. All right, that's rather vague. He defines those situations, though. And what I love about this system is that we're only using 3 indicators here. A 200-day simple moving average to identify the long-term trend, and a 5-day simple moving average, and the 2-period RSI stands for Relative Strength Index, to identify the short-term corrections. All right, let me show you how the strategy works. Now here we're looking at Procter & Gamble from November of 2018 to November of 2019. Don't worry why I went back so far. I'll explain why I went back so far in a little bit. I can teach you this system on any stock over any time frame. I can go back to 1960 and take stock XYZ and teach you the technique. This is what we're looking for, the type of stock that we're looking for. Overall, price goes from bottom left to upper right. Stays above the 200-day moving average the entire time. So long-term uptrend, but from time to time, the stock pulls back. And it falls below the 5-day moving average. So the white line running through price is a 5-day simple moving average. So I told you that the kind of description of the system was rather vague, but here's how he breaks it down and defines both of those situations. Price above the 200-day moving average, long-term uptrend, but below the 5-day simple moving average, short-term correction. Now there's of course another piece to this, right? Another indicator. It's called a Relative Strength Index. It's at the bottom. It's in green. Relative Strength Index is scaled between 0 and 100, and the industry standard look-back period is 14. It's about the average of what most people use, kind of industry standard, where the lower level or the lower extreme level is at 30 and the upper extreme level is at 70. It's considered oversold when the 14-period RSI is below 30, and it's considered overbought when the 14-period RSI is above 70. And you could plot this on any chart over any time frame showing the RSI movement. Now, using the industry standard setting of 14, you can see that the RSI fell below 30 in this case only one time over this almost 2-year period. Don't get me wrong, that was a good buying opportunity there after that pretty significant pullback. But Larry Connors realized, well, I can't use the 14-day RSI. It's not providing me with enough signals. So what he did, and what he needed to do, is he needed to speed up the indicator. And what he did was he changed the look-back period from a 14-day look-back to a 2-day look-back. Okay. He also lowered the extreme level from 30 to 10. You might be asking, why? Why 2? Why not a 4 period RSI? Why not a 6 period RSI? Why the value of 10 and not 15 or 20? And why a 200-day moving average, right? The only answer I have for those questions is it worked the best. I'm sure, because this is what the pros do. And I said this a few minutes ago, the pros examine and test different techniques to figure out which one is best. They don't just take an indicator and roll with it. Okay? This combination of probably starts out with kind of a thesis, right? Or an overriding theme. I want to find stocks that are in long-term uptrends, but are pulling back and experiencing a short-term correction. Probably the thesis of the document that he's creating, right? So long-term uptrend, price above the 200-day moving average, short-term correction, the 2-period RSI below 10, and, not or, and the price of the stock below the 5-day moving average. There is your setup. There's your trade. I'll say it again. Price above the 200-day moving average, but below the 5-day moving average with the 2-period RSI below 10. There's your setup. Okay? Let's take a look at what this trading plan looks like written down on paper. You really always want to write down your trading plan. It needs to consist of your buy and sell signals. So the entry rules are you buy only when the stock is above the 200-day moving average and below the 5-day simple moving average with the 2-period RSI below 10. And here's the kicker, a little unusual. We're going to enter the trade near the close of the day. A lot of times with swing trading strategies, we identify the setup as of the close of a day and then enter the trade the next day, right, on follow through. We identify the setup and entry near the close of a session. And I trade this system a lot. When I trade it, I'm buying, at about 3:50, 3:55 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm putting in a market order. Not going to mess around with limit orders. Chance at that late in the day, I might not get filled. So put a market order in right about 3:50, 3:55. I want to get in as close to the close as possible. The exit criteria, and notice how here it doesn't say stop loss or it doesn't say profit target. There is no stop loss with this system. Larry Connors realized that stop losses in the traditional sense, where you're cutting your loss at a certain level, it hurts performance over time. So he developed the exit criteria, which is we exit when price goes above the 5-day moving average. Remember, we're entering when it's below it. We exit when price goes above it. Not during the session. Not if price opens below the 5-day moving average and then by 11 o'clock in the morning it climbs above it. We wait for the close. We exit near the close of the day if we see that the price of the stock is going to close above its 5-day simple moving average. Okay? All right, let's take a look at some chart examples. Left brain, right brain people out there, right? Some people learn better visually when they're looking at, charts. So July 23rd, 2019, again, I'll explain why I went back so far later. But on July 23rd, 2019, we have an RSI2 setup. Now notice, we still got the white line. The white line is the 5-day moving average. The green indicator at the bottom is the 2-period RSI. The red dotted line there, or dashed line, is the value of 10. Okay? Notice, though, we don't see anymore the purple line, which is the 200-day moving average, right? Because I've zoomed in here so close, we just don't see that data anymore. But just know, with every example that I'm going to show you here, the price of the stock is above the 200-day moving average. So on July 23rd of 2019, price of the stock is in a long-term uptrend. It's above its 200-day moving average, but it's experiencing a little bit of a short-term correction. Now, I see that on that day, the price of the stock closed well below the 5-day moving average. So I'm going to enter in as close to the close as possible. I don't know what the price was at 3:50 p.m. or 3:55 p.m. So the purpose is here, I'm just going to use the closing price as our cost basis. So if we put a market order in as close to the close as we can, 113.85, give or take a few pennies, we sell 1, 2, 3 days later at $114.73. Now, I know what the stock price did for the next couple of days afterwards. I'm not concerned with that. I didn't know that that was going to happen, right? Nobody does. So you're following a system because it's very rules driven, and you'll see in a couple of examples where the price didn't keep going up after we exited and it fell. So don't get too concerned with, we should have held it for a bigger gain, because it's not the gain that I want you to focus on first. It's not how much money have we made on each trade that I want you to focus on. It's, did we make money or not? Well, I'll kind of slap on monetary performance later, but the key to this, or the big part of this system, is your hit rate, is your winning percentage. You're going to see some numbers in a little bit that are just going to blow your mind, because the winning percentage consistently is well above 50%, even above 60%, a lot of times above 80%. Okay? And again, we'll get into monetary performance in a little bit. So that's a winning trade. Bruce is asking, this is possibly day trading. This is not day trading. Not day trading, because you will never buy and sell the same stock the same day. Because if you're entering the stock near the close of a session, the earliest you can sell it is at the next day's close. So it's not day trading. True day trading is you're buying in the morning or at some point during the day, and you're selling the same stock before the close of the session. You can use this system to day trade, but instead you'd be looking at intraday charts. Right? The same rules could apply on an intraday chart. The same rules can apply on a weekly chart. We're looking at daily charts here. So you can't day trade looking at daily charts. You could day trade the system looking at 5-minute bars or 10-minute bars. You'd be looking at the same indicators and the same levels of these indicators. So for example, if you were looking at 5-minute bars, you need the price of the stock to be above its 200-period intraday moving average, but below the 5-period intraday moving average, with the 2-period RSI below the value of 10. Okay, not going to get into any examples of that, but so this is a winning trade. Put a tally mark in the win column. The very next day, we had another winning setup. Now, maybe you didn't buy the stock the day before for whatever reason. You were not watching the market, you didn't have any buying power left, you weren't feeling well, you were on vacation, whatever. The next day, you had another opportunity. So this is what I'm showing you. I'm showing you every opportunity, every setup, every RSI2 setup here, moving from left to right. And I'll go through 8 or so examples, because what you need to realize is no matter which setup you take, what is your likely winning percentage? That's what we're going to figure out, and that's going to be the end result of this exercise here, is what's our winning percentage no matter which entry I took, no matter which setup I took. So in this case, if we bought at 113.15, we sell the same day, near the close, not at the open. The stock price on this day, on July 26th of 2019, actually opened below the 5-day moving average. It rose above it during the day, winded up closing above it, and that's when we exit. So that's another winning trade. The next setup was August 5th of 2019. The price of the stock is still above the 200-day moving average, but it's experiencing a short-term correction where it falls below the 5-day moving average. And, not or, if it was or, these 2 days prior to August 5th would have been setups, right? Because the price of the stock was below the 5-day moving average on both of those days, but the 2-period RSI not below 10. But on August 5th, 2019, it was well below the 5-day. Really, really short-term oversold situation. And if we buy at 113.08, we sell a couple of days later at 115.52. 2 days. Okay, you're in the trade 2 days. Yeah, Robert's good question here. So you're buying and selling near the close only, so you don't have to watch your computer all day long. That is correct. You do not. You do not. Maybe to find trades, maybe the last half hour, 45 minutes, because you need a little bit of time to kind of pick some candidates and get in, but you're not there at the open. You don't need to be there at the open with this system or any other time during the day other than the end of the day. Okay, that was another winning trade. So here on September 10th of 2019, got the same situation. Price of the stock is still above the 200-day moving average, but below the 5-day moving average and the 2-period RSI below 10. So there, if we buy at 119.88, nice quick trade there again, 2 days. Perfect trade there. Couldn't have squeezed out much more out of this one, because as you can see, the price of the stock broke down for the next couple of days. That's why I don't want you to worry about, I should have kept it, a couple of examples ago, because I would have made more money. Let's not think that way. Let's just think in terms of, did I make money or not? We'll figure out how much later. Okay? October 2nd, 2019. And notice, we're not trading the same stock multiple times a week either. Okay? Boyd, any questions like that? You want to give our support department a call about adding lines to charts? I'm not in the program, so can't show you that here. Just give our support department a call. They'll walk you through that. October 2nd, 2019. Price is still above the 200-day moving average, but has broken down below the 5-day moving average and the 2-period RSI below 10. If here we buy at 121.08, we sell at 124. Now, you really can't get much better than that, right? Sold near the high of the session, and the price of the stock broke down for the next couple of days. Another 2-day trade. By the way, the average holding period for this system is 2 to 5 days. Average holding period, 2 to 5 days. I've seen trades where I'm out the next day. I see trades where I'm out a little longer than 5 days, just depending on the performance. We've seen only winning trades up until this point, right? Well, here's what a losing trade looks like. On this case, October 14th, 2019, if we were to buy there at roughly 120.05, because the price of the stock is still above the 200, but below the 5, and the stock's price, the 2-period RSI below 10. Here, if we buy at 120.05, we sell 5 days later at 119.08. That's a losing trade. It's not a stop loss, right? It's an exit criteria. It's an exit criteria. You exit no matter what when the price of the stock is about to close above the 5-day moving average. Now, I know what the stock did afterwards. We didn't know that that was going to happen. You cut your loss here, okay, because you don't know what's going to happen after the price of the stock closes above the 5-day moving average. Now, that was a losing setup. If you would have taken that setup, you would have lost. If you would have taken the next setup, you would have made money. If you would have taken that setup there, because that's a setup, price is above the 200-day still, but below the 5-day moving average, and the 2-period RSI dipped back below 10, if you would have taken this setup, you would have made money. So I showed you 8 setups in a row. I didn't skip over any. I just showed you, from July of 2019 to October 17th of 2019, there were 8 setups. We made money 7 times, and we lost once. Okay? That's a pretty good winning percentage, but that's a very small sample size. I told you I'd explain why I went all the way back to 2018, right? So it's a very small sample size, but what I did was I used the same stock, Procter & Gamble, and I wanted to see from all the way back to November of 2018 to current, how many winning trades would I have had and how many losing trades would I have had? There were 78 total RSI2 setups from November of 2018 to current, 8 of which I showed you guys already. But I went through the same exercise that we just went through. I identified every RSI2 setup, every entry, and every exit, and there were 72 setups, 65 winning trades, 13 losing trades. That's an 84% winning trade percentage. So if you would have traded the RSI2 strategy on Procter & Gamble for the last 5 years or so, you would have made money 84% of the time. Now that includes the last couple of years. During this time period here, it looks like May of 2022 all the way to November of 2022, there were no trades. Why? because the price of the stock was below the 200-day moving average. The price has to be above the 200-day moving average. That's a prerequisite. There are no trades that you're taking, long positions, when the price of the stock is below the 200-day moving average. There is a short setup with the RSI2. It's priced below the 200-day moving average, but above the 5-day moving average, and the 2-period RSI above 90. That's the short setup. Talk a little bit about that later. During this time period, when the 2-period RSI went below 10 a lot, right, 4 or 5 times here during a couple of months, there were no trades because the price of the stock was below the 200-day moving average. Okay, now that's one stock. So I'm gonna kind of sprinkle in the VectorVest method, because with VectorVest, what we do is we rank stocks in a very particular way, and we trade the stocks at the top of the list. Really, no matter which strategy or approach we take, we're doing that. So what I did was I went into the S&P 500 no petro watch list. I just eliminated oil. I wanted to stick with broad market equities, so no oil stocks, as of March 7th of 2023. And I ranked that list of about 480 stocks or so, because when you eliminate oil, it's what it drops it down to. I ranked the list by CI, Comfort Index. CI is a VectorVest proprietary indicator. You've heard of the Ulcer Index. The Ulcer Index rises the more a stock price falls. The CI indicator rises and becomes more favorable the more a stock price rises. CI is on a 0 to 2 scale. So I'm looking at, CI stocks 1.6, 1.7, 1.8. And that's really generally what you get when you sort a list of 500 stocks or so by CI. Those are the best stocks based on that indicator. Follow my cursor, right? If you're looking at a high CI stock, anything above 1.6, for the most part, here's what your chart looks like. Bottom left to upper right. So as of March 7th of 2023, these were the top 5 CI stocks in that watch list. From March 7th of 22 to March 7th of 23, so you go into the program on March 7th of 23, there are the top 5 CI stocks in the S&P. You look at their charts over the last year and run through the same exercise that we just did with Procter & Gamble. How many RSI2 setups were there from March 7th of 22 to March 7th of 23? There were 89 of them total across all 5 stocks. 74 winners, 15 losers. That's an 83% winning trade percentage. That's what I find a lot. Every time I do this webinar, I'm looking at between 80 to 90% winning trades. Now, with the exception of, since March 7th of 2023, those same 5 stocks had 52 RSI2 setups, 33 winners, 19 losers. That's a 63% winning trade percentage. Don't get me wrong. I am not disappointed with 63% winning trades. You should not be either. But the winning percentage might vary. I've never seen it below 60%. I've seen it 80% a lot. I've seen it even higher. So I wanted you to focus first on winning percentage. Get an idea of what type of winning percentage you might experience with the RSI2 system. Now let's get into, okay, how much money am I making? Forget about winning percentage. How much money am I making? What you're looking at here is a long-term portfolio from February of 2010 pretty much all the way to current. You can see the results. 846% gain, 93% winning trades, 266 winning trades, 20 losing trades, 93% winning trades. You just spent the last 13 years, this is automated, by the way, completely automated system. You spent the last 13 years only experiencing 20 losing trades. That's a little more than 1 a year. The stock selection system in this portfolio that you're looking at is the same as I just taught you. The only difference, and it's a subtle difference, is the exit criteria, because unfortunately within the VectorVest program, we don't have a way to automate closing a position when price closes above the 5-day moving average. We don't have a way to automate it. It's not one of the options in the stop criteria section. I had to kind of work with what I had. So I'll talk about the exit criteria later. but the exit criteria are a little different. 93% winning trades, 846% gain. The VectorVest composite only went up 150%. So 2x, 2.5x, the VVC went up over that same time period. Needless to say, we crushed the performance of the market over the last 13 years. Now, got a little volatile, right, after the COVID crash. Started to get a little volatile earlier than that. But look at how smooth the performance equity curve was prior to that. You know, and that's just the nature of the market, right? The market's gotten a little bit more volatile lately, again, particularly after the COVID crash. But we are just off of the all-time high here recently. Okay? So it just keeps trucking along, keeps moving along. You're going to get pullbacks. And you know what? It stinks if you start a campaign at a high like that and experience that drawdown right away. But you got to have confidence in knowing in the long run, this is what the equity curve is going to look like. 13 years is not a small sample size. So you might be thinking, well, and I know, Robert was asking about being in front of your computer all day. No, you don't have to do that. You do got to be there at the end of the day, though, to kind of find your trades. But it doesn't take you a lot of time. No matter what we teach you here at VectorVest, we want you to be able to do it faster, smarter, and better. So you might be asking yourself, how can I take my game here to the next level? This is what the pros do. This is why they're pros. So what I want to do is I want to just give you all the answers. You can take bits and pieces of what I taught you today. I like to give you all the answers. So that's why we put together this 6-session webcast series where we teach you techniques from 3 of the very best professional traders in the industry. Larry Connors created another system called the RSI 25. Linda Ratchke and Charles Schaap are the other 2 pros techniques that we teach in this course. You'll learn top trading strategies of the pros and how to quickly and easily identify the best trades. I hope you saw that if you learn to implement strategies like the one I showed you today, you'll achieve the success that you're looking for. So let's go through the modules in this course. There are 6 modules. It's a 6-week course. All the modules are pre-recorded. The first module really kicks things off and gets you in the right mindset to start trading this way. Because like I said earlier, this is not your fundamental valuation, earnings analysis, long-term holding type approach. We start off in this module with a little bit more on how the pros think, risk management guidelines, very important, and order entry. And those things will carry over into the other modules because now we'll start to teach different techniques. In module number 2, bullish and bearish candlestick reversal signals. Module number 3 is about using the right indicator for the right market environment that you're in. Module number 4, Linda Ratchke's system called the Holy Grail. By the way, myself and Steve Chappell. Steve is the Director of Trading Systems Development here at VectorVest. We are your instructors for this course. Linda Ratchke, Steve will teach you the system that she created called the Holy Grail. It's for both bullish and bearish markets. So if the market's going up, you got a bullish setup. If the market's going down, you have a bearish setup. Module number 5, I teach you 2 systems that were developed by Charles Schaap, one called the 50-50, the other called 80 Excellence. And then finally, the highlight of the course, more on the RSI 2 system, and another one that Larry Connors has created called RSI 25, which is exclusively for ETFs. Okay? Those are 6 pre-recorded modules. This is a special bonus. We're going to throw in this course, 1-year access to this course called Master the Art of Candlestick Analysis. This is a 6-session self-study course. We normally sell this course in the university at $995. We're going to throw in 1-year access to it for Trade Like a Pro. Now, with the Master the Art of Candlestick course, it's completely self-study. There are no live sessions. We won't be covering any of the content in that course. It's completely self-study. Move at your own pace. For Trade Like a Pro, though, we will be meeting live 6 times. These sessions, these mastery sessions, are designed to implement the things that you learned in the course. So we'll take a look at the things you're doing, questions you have. We'll guide you through the entire process. You'll also be given a homework assignment after each module, and we'll go over the homework assignment in these mastery sessions. So we're going to be there to guide you through the whole thing. You'll also be given 70 days access to VectorVest Premium. This is our real-time data for the U.S. market. It includes pro trader searches, which you'll see in a second how important these are, and the auto timer as well. It's an automated back testing tool. So if you're not a VectorVest subscriber, or you are but don't have our real-time data, we're going to give you 70 days access to it for the duration of the course. We'll be together for about 70 days. This bonus session is a live trading session. This is essentially, I guess, module number 7, maybe, mastery session number 7. It's the last time that we'll meet live. And this is where we implement everything that we learned over the course of the 6 weeks. I'll show you how you can use RoboTrader to manage your trades. I'll step you through everything from market analysis to trade setup to trade execution. And this is huge. Exclusively for workshop attendees, you will receive pre-built searches that make finding your trades really easy. You were probably thinking, all right, if they're going to teach us the RSI2 and the 50-50, the Holy Grail, how on earth am I going to find my trades? We made it a lot easier than having to cherry pick lists of stock to find good candidates. So the legwork has been done already. I built these scans to quickly and easily find the best candidates to trade, and the great part about this is we're going to insert them into your program so you don't have to buy them. You don't have to build them yourselves. Also, you will get this, the automated RSI2 trading system that has produced 93% winning trades and 846% over the last 13 years, where the VVC has only gone up 148%. So with an automated system, with an automated trading system, there are some variables in there, right? There's how many stocks does the portfolio hold? There's what's the market timing system, if any, is being used? Do I replace stocks or not replace? What's my exit criteria? What's my sector and industry diversification look like? All these little variables in an automated system, because it's supposed to be hands-off. An automated system is supposed to cover all your bases. No matter what happens, what do you do? And that's what an automated system tells you. It tells you exactly what to do no matter the situation. Most importantly, you get hands-on training by both Steve Chappell and myself. Steve's the Director of Trading Systems Development. We'll be in the chat rooms, manning the chat room, so you can ask us any questions throughout the course. Now, the course is valued at $29.95. There is an early bird rate that's available for $24.95. But as a special thank you for you guys for being here today, I want to knock an extra couple of $100 off. So I'm going to type in that address that you see there at the bottom, www.vectorvest.com/TLP, and make sure to type it right. So for $22.95, let me go over everything you get. You get 1 year access to the Trade Like a Pro course, 6 modules, 6 live mastery support sessions, a live bonus session, 1 year access to the Master the Art of Candlestick Analysis self-study course, the RSI2 automated trading system, the pre-built scans, and the VectorVest 7 real-time program if you don't already have it. Now, by the way, this is 100% money back guaranteed. If after the course is over you say, I've done all the work, I've watched the recordings, I've done the assignments, and you're still not satisfied, you feel like there's not going to be any of these techniques that you will use in your swing trading portfolio, we'll gladly give you a refund. Now, we take the searches away, and we also take the automated RSI2 trading system away as well, but we'll gladly give you a refund. Here are the dates for the live mastery support sessions. We begin in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today gives you plenty of time to log in and start watching the modules. Now, we take things slow, of course, in mastery session number 1, which is on October 24th. By the way, all the sessions begin at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and they are recorded as well. We will go over the contents of module 1. In mastery session number 2, on Halloween, we go over the contents of module number 2, and so on and so forth. Okay? The live trading session will be on December 5th, and that's at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So with this live trading session, we start an hour before the market opens. There's some of the things that we could do the night before, that you could do the night before, but we start an hour before. We pack everything in that hour, and again, I take you through everything. Market analysis, what's the market doing? Are we bullish or are we bearish? If we're bullish, let's go and run our scans, our bullish scans. If we're bearish, let's go run our bearish scans. Once we run the scans, we set up the trades. We make sure we understand where our confirmation levels are, where our profit targets are, where our stop losses are. So all of this work, this homework, is done before the market opens. And then when the market opens, this session is about an hour and a half. Once the market opens at 9:30, then we just kind of relax a little bit. The work's been done. We wait about 15 minutes after the market opens, and that's when we begin to look to make our trades. The RSI-2 and the RSI-25 systems are the only two systems that you buy and sell near the close of the session. With the Holy Grail and the 50-50 and the 80 excellence and all of the bullish candlestick signals, you're gonna recognize these setups at the close of a given session and then look to take the trades the next day. That's how normal regular kind of trading systems work, right? You wait for confirmation. You got to understand where your confirmation levels are. And that's what we do throughout the course, and we put it all together in this live trading session. Okay, so go to VectorVest.com/TLP. What I also did, nobody reminded me, what I also did was I put in the TLP. You guys should see the handout there. It says TLP. It's a PDF. Those are the slides that I used today. So click on that. Everybody see that? That's in GoToWebinar. It says handouts, might say 1 of 5. It's a PDF that says TLP. Just simply click on it, open that up, and then you'll be able to download it to your computer. I did record today's session, but you're going to get another version. You're going to get a version that I did at 11 a.m. this morning. So you will get that recording sometime later this evening. Any questions at all on anything that I covered today, or anything about the course itself? Oh, by the way, the $22.95 rate will only be available for a very short period of time. It will revert back to the early bird rate of $24.95, but if you are an elite subscriber, the rate is $14.97.50. If you don't know if you're an elite subscriber or not, give our support department a call and they'll let you know. And also, give our support department a call if you need any help walking through anything that I talked about today. Somebody had asked about how to draw the lines on the charts. Give our support department a call. They'll walk you through it. David says, okay, Boyd, awesome, fantastic. David's asking, I'm interested in a beginner course of VectorVest. Would this be it? I wouldn't say this is a beginner course because this is a kind of a niche specialty course. Our beginner course is our successful investor course. So, David, if you're interested in it more of a investment course, you're going to look into our successful. It's called the Successful Investor. It's more of an investment course. It's more fundamental analysis. This is none of that. This is no fundamental analysis. We're strictly using technical indicators. This course is not difficult, but it's not a kind of a beginner course. Yes, the recording will be emailed to you. Yes. Oh, man, that's awesome, David. David says, thanks for the info. My dad was big into VectorVest, but I never paid attention as a kid. That's awesome. That's awesome. We're glad to have you on board. Yeah, if you're looking for more of a basic investment course, Successful Investor is the one. And then you can always build up. You want to learn more about options. We have option courses. I would say that's more advanced than just the Successful Investor course. Trade Like a Pro. We have some other swing trading courses that you might want to build up to. All right, fantastic, Susan. I appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, listen, you guys have a great rest of your day. Any questions, give our support department a call or shoot them an email. But we do begin in 2 weeks, so you got plenty of time to watch as many modules as you'd want up until that point. But go to VectorVest.com/TLP to register. Again, the $22.95 rate only available for a very short period of time. You're very welcome, guys. Really appreciate those kind words. Thank you, Kerry, and thank you, David. Take care, everybody. You guys have a great rest of your day.